Hi, it's Claire here. It's today, the 12th of May, is a full moon in Scorpio, and it's also quite a lot going on, particularly around processing things which are deeply hidden. So expect to feel possibly some interesting thoughts rising to the surface. I looked at two or three things off the internet, but I've had a bit less time today. So I've got a client coming. So Scorpio is linked actually with karma as well. So it's interesting. And this one is quite strong because it's so deep. And Uranus and Taurus are in opposition. The actual sun is also in Taurus, and the moon is in Scorpio. And the Uranus Taurus opposition brings in sort of more earthy energy, security, thoughts on security, material worth, our housing, that type of thing. But it's opposing the Scorpio full moon. And there could be things to do with changes to move on our path and awaken us and getting us to process things. So the moon is trining with Saturn, and Saturn is a great teacher. And it's now possibly that we're at the end of a certain lesson in our life and the activation of new things coming in. So Saturn's at its last critical degree of Pisces, and it might have given us quite a few lessons there. And the lady I looked at, Maria Vasami, firstly also talked about the huge distraction of New Age things which aren't probably being used properly or aren't being used authentically. And she went on about once you sort of ascend and start thinking more spiritually, you come out of what we call a material matrix and go through a spiritual matrix. And that also can be quite distracting and things. She talked about be careful what kind of cultures you then go into. Because we're really meant to be looking for our own path and internally really to process those things. She also talked about Lilith and the dark side of the moon, and Scorpio's linked with Lilith at this point, and the secrets that might arise, and sexual secrets even, and Mars trines Venus. So that is actually good because it's a nice thing because you're going to get the balance between Mars and Venus. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. So you get that male female balance thing going on. And Scorpio is very deep, it is connected to sexuality. And if breakups have not been processed with people and couples, then that might, be kind of activated in this full moon. Molly McCord talked about the 22 degrees full moon, and it's opposing in Scorpio, that is opposing the earthy Taurus in the sun. And it actually may link to what happened in November 24, because Mars, Pluto rules Scorpio, and there's links there. And there may be or have been a challenge and an ego breakdown, as Pluto is the higher energy and wants us to evolve, really. So there may be a death in our own consciousness and a turning point, really, with our emotions and a new understanding of empowerment. It's also like we need to be honest and look at internally what is deadness, if you like, what's finished. What are we finished with? Scorpio really links to addictions, obsessions, and actually also death and rebirth. So looking through the depths of the self, which is triggered by Mars, Pluto opposition. And the full moon shows it, and we need to be really honest, really, and not turn away, if you like. And also she talked about Uranus and Taurus conjunction, which would be 5 days after today, around the 17th, so in the middle of the month. There could be shocks because Uranus links with that type of thing, shocks and things, the unexpected, dynamic changes, revelations. And Taurus is what we sense, so we might be sensing those things, looking at what happens next, new choices, new potentials. And also in right. She also talked about be ready now for the changes which have come in since last year. And you've got Saturn North Node in Pisces in the last degree, really a release and the sense of the new, and more about self-acceptance. And Saturn is a great timekeeper, and these things will be timed really well. So the fixed signs might feel it more. So Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, and Leo, I think it is, and they may have to really push themselves to be able to move on, and really look at what's complete and what shows up, and what really needs examining really. And Gemini also brings up choices, because Gemini is the twins, and you've got one or the other. And I think it was Molly McCord that really talked about you've got a higher choice or a lower choice, and try and think about what is the higher choice. You've got Neptune, Aries, new dreams, and going with the unknown and new adventures. And the South Node in Virgo, around mid-May, that's looking at Virgo links with responsibilities and organisation. We may feel that on our shoulders a little bit heavily, but be ready for new reality. And, there might be anxieties arising from that, but it's about time probably for new changes and a new chapter. And really the full moon says trust your intuition as well, really. And you've got Venus in Aries trining Mars in Leo. You've got Mercury in Taurus, and you've got questions which might surface there with Mercury in Taurus about, is it worth it? Looking for the facts as well. But it's good to really look at new choices and move away from things that have not served us at all. And be aware of these shocks and things that might come in around the 17th. I don't mean necessarily really bad, but there might be unexpected things. Mercury squaring Pluto on the 12th of May. I looked at a video about that, and the Scorpio full moon, and they talked about the mind cracking open and being recalibrated. It's a full flower moon in Scorpio, so links with the flowers of the season, but also that what we deny will need to be seen, so be ready and aware. Memories may resurface, and the subconscious really starts processing things. Hidden thoughts might be revealed. Watch your interactions, power dynamics, who's making judgments, where are there silences where perhaps there shouldn't be any, because people can't hide what is normally kind of hidden is rising more to the surface, and we will be acutely aware of that around now on the 12th with this full moon showing us the truth really. And our truths we may feel we have to speak those, and they may feel quite intense, and the mask might come off and the gloves might even come off. You've got your intuition being more called on. So you've got your third eye, you've got your throat chakra, you've got the higher chakra. You might get messages in dreams come through, because the veil would be thinner at this point, so we can sort of link through with the higher self, and messages that come through, and the conscious are subconscious. And they talked about in the video neural pathways being rewired, and Pluto rules actual transformation, so it's a really, good thing to push us really, and allow our minds to expand, but for shadow traits to be no longer buried, but to be acknowledged and then processed really. Things like fears, judgments, power struggles, that all might come to the surface. Watch what you say. I've had some interaction with someone from the past, so it was quite difficult. It's made me think about things a bit more. It's pushing me to make an action. You've got to sort of question maybe long-held beliefs. That might happen now, and maybe try not to resist the new thoughts too much. And the words we use might be really powerful and intense, especially today, actually. So watch what's said, watch what you say, because thoughtless words might really rile people. But also conversations can be very healing as well. And repressed anger that hasn't been dealt with might need detoxing. And think what triggers you, or us, I should say, and clean that up if you can. The moon will work out a non-negotiable shift, is what was said in that video. The T-square with Mars, power struggles, see where action is taken and or what needs taking and now needs processing. And if you can, list things that are stressful and eliminate what is not a priority, people, things, habits, behaviors, actions that you no longer need to take. So I'm going to do my list soon. Well, happy full moon in Scorpio, and yeah, have a great day. Hope you enjoy this video. Bye.